Right, so this is something I do most days now. I open a chat window, type a question in, and an AI answers me. A few seconds later, there's a reply sitting there, in proper sentences, about whatever I asked. And it's become so ordinary that I'd stopped finding it strange. Which is itself fairly strange if you give it more than about 4 seconds of thought. Because I genuinely had no idea what the AI was doing in between. None. I was pressing the button and receiving the words like a pigeon in an experiment. So I went and found out properly. And that's what this is, the whole journey. Your sentence going in one end, words coming out the other. No maths, and nothing I haven't explained first. It's stranger than I expected, because at no point does the AI ever read your question. Not once. Not a single word of it. And once you can see the shape of what an AI is actually doing, a load of really annoying behavior suddenly makes sense. Why it can't count the letters in a word. Why it's most confident precisely when it's most wrong. Why long conversations go quietly downhill. Why rephrasing a question sometimes fixes everything for no obvious reason. That's not a list of bugs. It's all the same few mechanisms showing through. Quick thing, this is AI Oblivious, where I work out how this stuff functions roughly 3 years after everyone else. If that's a service you'd like more of, subscribing is free and requires no skill whatsoever. The like button also does something apparently. Nobody's ever fully explained what. Right, 5 steps. Here's the first. The first thing the AI does with your sentence is tear it into pieces. Not letters, not quite words either. Chunks. They're called tokens. How? Do, I, make, bread, question mark, 6 tokens, a note, not 6 words. The question mark gets its own. It's very pleased about that. Common words usually get 1 each. Rarer ones get chopped up. Unbelievable. Turns up as 3 separate bits, which feels like a metaphor for something. Then the AI swaps each token for a number, its ID in a fixed vocabulary of about 100,000 entries. And that's the moment your sentence stops being language. From here on, there is no text anywhere in the system, just numbers. Which explains one of the great humiliations of modern computing. Ask it how many R's are in strawberry, and it will frequently get it wrong. A machine trained on the entire internet, defeated by a berry. It's not being thick, it genuinely cannot see the letters, it saw 3 chunks. Asking it to count letters is like asking you to count the brushstrokes in a photo of a painting. The information simply isn't in what it was handed, which, I'll admit, made me feel slightly guilty about some of the things I'd called it. Now, a number on its own means nothing to the AI. Token 412 isn't bigger than token 90, so each one gets turned into something richer, a long list of numbers. Hundreds of them. And you can think of that list as coordinates, a position in a space with hundreds of dimensions. Nobody can picture hundreds of dimensions. I struggle with 4, so let's cheat and do 3. In this space, things that mean similar things sit near each other. Bread lives near dough, and loaf, and bakery. It is a very long way from helicopter. Nobody arranged that by hand. It fell out of reading an absurd amount of text and noticing which words keep turning up near which. Meaning worked out from company kept. Which is also roughly how I learned to talk. So your question is now 6 positions in an enormous space of meaning. Still no words anywhere. Here's the bit that actually made modern AI work. Every token now looks at every other token and works out which ones matter to it. It's called attention, and it's how the model copes with the fact that words change each other. Take bank. On its own, useless. Put river next to it and it means one thing. Put savings next to it and it means something completely different. The word didn't change. What changed is what it was paying attention to. Which is also true of me in most meetings. In our sentence, bread pulls hard on make. Because make bread is a very different ask from buy bread or draw bread. And this doesn't happen once. It happens in layer after layer, dozens of them, each working on a slightly more considered version of the sentence than the last. By the top, it isn't holding 6 separate words anymore. It's holding something more like a shape. The gist. And then, after all that, all those dimensions, all those layers, the AI does something almost insultingly simple. It guesses the next token. That's the job. Not answer the question, just what comes next. But the AI doesn't guess one thing. It scores every token in its vocabulary, all 100,000 of them, every single time. You, quite likely. Bread, plausible. Aardvark, technically on the list. Living in hope. Then it picks one, usually not strictly the highest, because a bit of randomness is mixed in deliberately, which is why you can ask the same question twice and get 2 different answers, like asking a toddler what they'd like for tea. And then, and this is the part that genuinely bothered me, it starts again. Your question, plus that one new word, goes back in at the very beginning. Tokenized. Positioned. Attended to. All of it. For one more word. A paragraph isn't one answer. It's hundreds of complete passes, each adding a single piece. It's doing the whole 9 yards, over and over, to hand you a comma. So, those 5 annoyances. AI can't count letters because it never had letters. It had chunks. It sounds confident when it's wrong because confidence isn't a feeling in there, it's just a tall bar. A wrong answer can have a very tall bar. Nothing in the system knows the difference. Which is a sentence that has also been said about me. Long conversations drift because every word is produced with the entire history in view, and when that history gets long, the important bits have a lot more to compete with. And rephrasing works because you're not clarifying yourself to something that misunderstood you. You're handing it different starting positions, different input, different path. It hasn't forgiven you. It's just somewhere else. None of which makes it less useful. I use it constantly. But there's a difference between using a thing and understanding it, and the understanding is what stops you being surprised by it. The AI isn't thinking about your question, it's doing something much weirder, very fast, one piece at a time. Which raises the obvious next question. If it's only ever predicting what comes next, why does it sometimes state complete nonsense with the confidence of a man who has never been wrong in his life? That isn't a malfunction. It's this exact machinery working perfectly. That's the next one.